First on TLC, Tim Grundy remembers some of those moments he'd really rather forget in a Two's Country flashback.
If you're going to be doing that all the time, I'm going to need to wear these, I think. Yeah, perhaps not, eh? Yeah, I know. Things ain't what they used to be, eh? Anyway, welcome to Two's Country Flashback. And by way of an introduction to a flashback, here is one. Ooh! And that's it for this series. In fact, until the next time when you see us, when we'll have a sort of compilation of all the bits you didn't see during the series, as well as some bits that we definitely didn't want you to see. So it'll sort of be all wrong on the night, really. Now then, do you need a lift home? What do you mean, no? You go... Yeah, one more. Just a quicker. Needs to be faster. Oh yeah, thanks a bunch. Not only do I get blinded, but you're going to embarrass me as well. You know that wasn't the right take. What, it was take 6, was it? Yeah, well, you don't have to tell everybody. Anyway, by the end of this programme, they're all going to know that, aren't they? And they'll know that it's not only me that makes mistakes. Watch this. And the royal bit is very important. There are lots of White Hart hotels, but there's only one royal. And that's because King Charles I actually stayed here 351 years ago today with his secretary, and by total coincidence, he's back again tonight. Yeah, you see, you're not much better yourself, are you? And there'll be plenty more of those before this programme's through, I can tell you. What? Well, you've got to do it, haven't you? Because it keeps your pants off the chain, you see. Anyway, here we are, back in that same hotel 6 months later. Do you remember? It was a gorgeous, boiling hot day. Mind you, it's not so bad now. Hey, and I'll tell you what, this is a good place for getting knighted. Even if it is by a guy who's been dead, without his head, for 346 years.
Are you not the person? You are the person that I have come to meet.
You've come to
meet? For the very purpose. Hold my stick, sir.
Oh, hold your stick, yes, right. Oh, this is good. You're going to run him through with that, aren't you? Run him through with it.
I am going to use this sword for a very important purpose. And that is to knight him as a knight of my realm. Because this, sir, is a trustworthy man. But you, Sir Varlet...
I'll see you up there and I'll buy you a pint. Sir Kit Breaker, I seem to remember you called yourself. And I do remember that I bought a pint and you didn't. And now we're out of work and I don't know what we're going to be able to...
Hello.
Hello?
Are you the guys looking for work?
Yes, we are.
Good. Any good in the kitchen?
Yeah, no problem, yeah.
How about silver service waiting?
Yeah, we can do that.
Can you go behind the bar for me?
Yes, he can, yeah.
And bed making?
No problem.
Tell you what we'll do.
Yeah.
I'll give you a day's trial, because it's quite hard work.
Yeah.
If you're any good, you've got a job.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get on with it then.
All right, fine. Anyway, let's go back to where it all started. A boggy field in the middle of Cirencester, and 2 blokes about to set off on a long journey. Welcome to Two's Country. Over the next 13 weeks, we're going to be discovering everything that's wonderful about Great Britain. Yes, well, like all good things, it didn't end there. Welcome to Two's Country. Over the next 13 programmes, we're going to be discovering everything that's wonderful about Great Britain. We're going to be exploring it from Hadrian's Wall down to Hardy's Essex, from the Caledonian
Hardy's Wessex.
What did I say? Essex.
Yeah.
Idiot. Yes, well, there's nothing like a good start, and that was nothing like a good start. Anyway, from there on, it all went downhill. So here are some more outtakes from our trip down the Thames, and from Hardy's fictional Wessex, and also from the Derbyshire Hills near Buxton. Anyway, you press your replay button, and I'll get on with the bed. Right, we've moved about 15 miles further down the river. We've also jumped about 300 years, and because Henry's dad, John's dad, this monument is erected to his memory by a few of his American admirers. And that was in 1931. And here it is, Hardy's cottage, where he was born. He also wrote The Mayor of Casterbridge, Jude of something or other. Mayor of Casterbridge, Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and Jude the Obscure. And he's admired all over the world because he didn't just write those two novels. He wrote many, many more, including The Mayor of Casterbridge, Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and also Jude the Obscure. Jude! And he not only wrote those, but later wrote Far from the Madding Crowd. We've said Far from the Madding Crowd. If I don't get this right in a minute, I'm going to scream. Come on, get up. You look untidy sitting on the pavement. Well, next week, we're going to be going somewhere where they don't have yellow lines. The North York Moors.
They have researchers in the background.
They do, actually, yeah. Now, come on in. This is a cracking old pub. And do you know that in this one tiny village, there were 5 pubs. There was the Bull's Head, the Nag's Head, there was the Nag's Head, there was the Bull's Head, there was the Town Inn, there was the Bull's Head, the Nag's Head, the New Inn, there was the Pack Horse.
There was a telephone, was there?
There was the Bull's Head, the Nag's Head, the Pack Horse, the New Inn, and the Devonshire, although it actually used to be called the Stag's Head. And they were proper, well, quite a walk down the Varry. Eventually, about 100 years later, it fell to Owen Glendower, as in the sons of. And it's absolutely marvellous. Oh! What are you doing? I told you to clean the bath, not yourself. What are you doing in the bath? What? There's a spider. You're strange, you are. Actually, talking of strange people, we've met all sorts, haven't we, during this programme? Like that actress lady. In fact, she was a lady, Pauline Lady Rumbold. You remember? She had her own grave with a name on it, waiting for her, in Stinsford Church, right in the heart of Hardy's Wessex. In fact, it's where Hardy's heart is buried. That's if the story about the cat eating it before it was buried isn't true. Pauline wasn't too sure.
The story goes that a cat got it. But I must confess that although I think it's a Hardy story, I don't really believe it.
That the cat got it.
That the cat got the heart before it was buried.
It is a nice story. And here it is. This is your grave. Is it unusual to have your name engraved upon a tombstone before you die?
I think it's not very usual, but I had a wonderful letterist from Cambridge called Will Carter, and I didn't want to waste his talents. Also, the gravedigger told me that he'd dug it very deep, so there was room for me as well. And I found that Sylvia Townsend Warner, who's a well-known writer who lives down here, she had done it. And also the Infanta Beatrice of Spain. I thought, well, that's pretty good.
So are you pleased that when the day comes, not only will you be joining your husband, but you'll be joining the Hardys in the graveyard?
Very much. I'm very pleased. It's a lovely place. In fact, when I moved into the vicarage, the carpenter who was working there said to me, I don't know as you can live there with that great thing pumping away next door. And I said, well, do you mean Hardy's Heart? And he said, I said, I don't mind. I haven't got very far to go. I can just leap over the wall and join him. And he said to me, in about 5 minutes, he said, you want a little bit of beading round this? I said, yes, I do.
Well, you might have told me how big that spider was. I think it must have been a tarantula, at least. Where is it now, anyway? Well, behind the towel rail. Well, I'll tell you what, you do the towels and I'll polish the bathroom fittings or something. After all, you're good with animals, you. I mean, look at Kitty the cat. Anyway, do you know, whilst we've been making these 2 series, there's an awful lot of stuff that's ended up on the bathroom floor, as it were, or down the TV plug hole, eh? And it was nice stuff. Like, for example, a brave ranger out stalking wild animals in the heart of the Cotswolds. It's all right, it's all right, it's all right. Isn't this beautiful? We've just actually brought them off a main road. She'd gone looking for grass, because obviously when the snow's come down, grazing is not easy. She's got 2 little twins, or at least twins. They are beautiful, but we're having to coax them ever so gently to go back the right way to rejoin the flock. Come on, it's all right. I know it's water. It's all right. Keep going that way. Keep going that way, darling. It's all right. It's all right. Go on. Go on. Take your babies with you. Go on. Go on. That way. That way. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Don't worry. Okay. Keep going. Keep going. Good girl. Ah, but they were lovely though, weren't they? Those little sheep. They were gorgeous. Anyway, I think you should wash up for once. And I should dry up. Yeah, I know. Make a pleasant change. But you see, if I don't talk all the time, no one knows what's going on, do they? Anyway, we've just got time for some of the bits that went wrong in North Yorkshire, Clyn Peninsula and Stoke-on-Trent. What do you mean, how do I know we've got time? It's obvious, it's... Do you think this thing's waterproof? It's all about electricity, and you can probably hear it. Something around me. What is sparking around me? Crackling. It's all about electricity. In fact, you can probably hear it crackling around me. Now, up there in the mist, there's another reservoir way up, and the water rushes down from it, down a 6-inch pipe, 6-foot pipe. This is Johnson Brothers, part of the Wedgwood Group, and the pottery industry was dependent upon one other vital ingredient, and that is a tannoy system, actually, that's what it is, yes. Now, the potteries were also dependent upon one other factor, the canals.
Alan Smith, Cleveland 314.
Give him a kiss, go on, give him a kiss, a bit nice. Just 3 mile castles further along the wall, and here we are at Bird Oswald. Now, this is a fabulous port. Hello? Actually, there are some great names around here. There's Wall, Banks, where we've already been. The one I can't remember. Actually, there are some great names around here. There's Banks, where we've just been. There's Wall. There's... Oh, no. Actually, there are some great names around here. There's Wall, for obvious reason. Banks, where we've just been. There's First Brood. Is it first or once brewed? Once brewed, right? They have a particular kind of oat cake in Staffordshire, and the recipes are always secret. They're usually made by 2 people, and there are 24 makers in the whole of the area. And we're not going to get through there at the moment, so let's do it again. No, there was no way I was going to get in there. And normally, no way you'd be in there. I've never seen you that side of a bar before. And do you know what you're doing? And if so, can I have some, please? Come on, just pour me a bit. I want to see whether you've got the hang of this job. Right, thanks. There you go. What's that? Washing up liquid. Wait, you've just been cleaning it out. All right. Cheers, thanks a lot. You know, there's been a few times in this series where chewing on something sour would really help. You see, knowing that you can't laugh means that you almost always do. You've made a complete pig's ear of it. You opened the wrong window. Hello, hello. I'm over here, hello. The thing is, once something's tickled your funny bone, it just goes on tickling you. So, let me just see if I've got this right. You reckon you spent the night on the hill, there was a blinding flash, and you were abducted by aliens. You woke up this morning with... Let me see if I got this right. You woke up this morning with a buzzing in your arm and a sore neck. And that they wanted to question you about Kitty the cat and the new... So, how is that futon? Comfortable? Good. Cheers. Now you see, slurping your drink, that got us into terrible trouble on the Isle of Wight. Okay then, you win, I give in. Do you know, I wonder if Queenie... You win. Do you know, I wonder if Queenie... You win. I wonder if Queen Elizabeth ever came... It's not bad, that. What do you call it? End of part one. End of... Oh, I see. All right. Well, don't be too long. You know, there's more to this hotel business than I thought. This is sort of a relight my fire from those boys. Take that. Jimmy Savile? Right. Anyway, time for more of those great British characters. And in fact, we're going up to North Yorkshire for a sort of heaven and hell. We've got a bloke who's a religious chap that writes murder mysteries, and we've got another chap who dresses up as Dracula. Is it unusual for a priest to be a thriller writer?
I don't know. There have been priests who have written thrillers. I suppose on the whole it's unusual, yes. Bit of a release, perhaps, you know, from the normal run of priestly life. Seems to attract people who have an interest in theology. Dorothy L. Sayers, P.D. James, people like that. You know, deal with theology on one side and then thrillers on the other.
Are you still writing?
Yes, I'm writing. I've got a novel on the stocks at the moment, and I've done Sauna Lumiere scripts and scripts for videos, because we have a little group that produces videos on cheap, you see, saving your presence. I don't want to say that to a professional, really.
What do you mean on the cheap?
Well, we can do a promotional video for 300 quid if you're interested.
I've just been up Dracula's steps, all 200 of them.
No, the church stairs, 199.
Hey?
199. You see, years ago, the correct way to be buried in Whitby was to be carried up those stairs. And carrying a coffin up is quite a out-of-breath business job.
Yeah?
So they put landings on the stairs. Some of the landings are 1 stride, some are 2 strides wide. And I'll bet you counted the landings as 2 steps instead of just 1.
Spooky. Cheers, Harry. Time to move on. Spooky. You know, We've been all over the country for this programme. North, south, east, west. And some of it is absolutely gorgeous. So what we thought we'd do is put together a little compilation of the aesthetically pleasing bits, rather like this.
Looking across the mountains to the west, you watch the clouds roll by, staring at the fields of green below as the sun falls from the sky. Do we stop to see the beauty of the oyster before we take the pearl? Wondering how it used to be before man came into the world. It's a beautiful thing when I look at you and try to see the world from someone else's point of view. Trying to feel the best that I can, never really knowing all the wonders of this land.
Ethan Allen. He's young, he's good looking, he sang that song, he wrote it, and he played just about all of the instruments on it. And I hate him. Yeah, I hate this as well. Well, I'm sorry, you know. Anyway, you promised us to show this part. Follow me. Ladies, stir fry. Stir fry? Yes, which, I think it's this side anyway, there we go.
Thank you.
That's an absolute pleasure. And would you like stir fry as well?
No, thank you.
I'll hold on to this one. Talking of eating, I've eaten some pretty strange things. Whoa! Strange things on this programme. What's that then? Oh, well, here we go with the gastronomic delights. Well, yes, I know a bit about this. This, of course, is seaweed or dulse. There you go. Big speciality around here. Absolutely beautiful. I don't know. I just can't see it. And the lady said what? She said it turns green when you cook it. No sugar, no milk, no butter, just a bit of salt. That's all you need. This is the real McCoy. This is the ticket. This is what gets you going in the morning. It's soda bread, preserves, gentle little cooked breakfast. Could you get your face out of it, please? Thank you. Oh, dear. And that's a pollen in the middle. And, well, I can't eat them. Oh. Oh, right. And it's just set for one, then. Yeah. I've never eaten eel before. Oh, dropped it. It's different. Well, it's just a bit of 11s, that's all. Just to keep me going, you know. Some nice soup and some wheaten bread. Actually, I've got a takeout. Look, takeaway wheaten bread. It was that exercise, you see. It gave me an appetite. Gorgeous. Lovely. Very nice. Yeah, great. Cheers. You always wash it down with some ale. Guinness. You know, the one thing that this business has in common with ours is it keeps you fit. This is the 6th lot of room service I've had to do this morning. We're always going up and down things, aren't we? Do you remember Mavis Grind? No, not who's she. It's a place on Shetland. Remember? Look, no. There are very few places that you can do this. In fact, this is probably the only one. Up to the top. And on that side is the North Sea. Over there. And on that side, the Atlantic Ocean. And they say if you've got a strong arm, you can throw a pebble from the Atlantic over there into the North Sea. I haven't. Have you got Order 73? All right, thanks a lot. Actually, that reminds me. Do you remember Clive of India? You're useless. And a corned beef sandwich for the couple at table number 3. There we are. Walcott Hall in Walcott. Isn't this absolutely stunning? What? What's the matter? Yeah, I know. Yes, Lord Clive of India. Actually, it's not. It's Keith Pybus, who runs an organisation that likes to keep the memory of Clive of India alive. Hi, Keith. How do you do?
Tim.
Looking resplendent. Wonderful stuff.
Thank you.
Now, Clive actually lived here, didn't he?
Yes, it's rather like winning the national lottery. He came back after his 3rd trip to India, the richest man in the country. And I always say he didn't have much left to aspire to, so he decided he might like to be Prime Minister. Fortunately, because there was no democracy, little places like Bishop's Castle, known as the rottenest borough in the country, had 2 MPs and 8 electors. So this was quite a bargain for Clive. He bought the place and got a couple of MPs into the bargain. When you think he was also buying perhaps another 4 or 5 houses like this, sometimes only 1 MP coming with them, he was well on the way to creating a major political party.
Astonishing, isn't it? He was on a pension of about 25 million.
Yes, I suppose if you had installed somebody as the ruler of half a continent like India, you'd expect a fair pension as well, in recompense. He also got his pick of some pretty nice jewels.
Yes, it's a pie on a plate. I think he wants to know why you're holding that, Keith.
This is Clive's further achievement. He was the only Englishman that ever taught the French anything about food. During a 3-month stay in the town of Pézenas, the south of France, he gave them the recipe for what is an 18th century mince pie.
Leave it. Put it down. Another one of our great British characters. Now, it's time for some more of those bits that quite rightly hit the cutting room floor. I only wish they'd stayed there. Now, how many have you done? Terrific. Perhaps if we try inside. What happens now? Now, there is a memorial in here that has this inscription written. What happened was... Read the inscription first, Tim. Now, I'd like you to get your act together now. It's gone off the page on the map. This is Inniskedwin, and it was an old ironworks. In fact, there have been ironworks here, it is thought, since the Roman times. I can't fold this flaming map. And there's certainly been ironworks here since the Elizabethan times. Be awful after all of those interruptions. Actually, it was a screamer right down the middle. It's bound to be awful after all these interruptions. I told you you'd ruin it for me. Oh, is that what it is? Sorry. Do you want to give him the camera? Yes, and that's what he thinks of you. Now, King James was thrown off the throne. Not going to help to do it. And they were the people who supported King James, who was thrown off the throne. Thrown off the throne. Who was thrown off the throne. Who was throwned off the throne. And he was, what dethroned him? Dethroned him right over there, and he thromed up all over the throne. And once he thromed up, the throne was ruined. Yeah, go on. You enjoy yourself while I'm doing all the hard work. Well, that little lot didn't do my cred any good, did it? Eh? No, you're right. This isn't doing my cred any good either. Well, I'll have to get on with it. And move your feet. Come on, you're always in the way with those. In fact, you're always falling over things with those, aren't you? The town developed, and also, whilst it developed, it, fell over. Ha! I rise again. Actually, run up there, and with a little more authority, I can say that those takes its name from the first sign in the pub, which was the Angel Gabriel. Whilst I'm getting out of all this, hey, that's enough. Nettles. It didn't bode well for him because royalty took the castle off him sometime later, although he did. And above here, and hopefully your cousin. Tell me about Dolly then.
Well, Dolly herself, of course, being the last speaker of Cornish, so they say.
Now, down here, we really begin to see the infant of the Thames taking shape. Here it is. Oh! You all right?
Yeah. Buddy.
It's a smooth stone, fortunately. Be a good outtake. Ah, 11s. Thank you, oh clumsy one. Well, I reckon we've got time for another quick break, and then after that, in part 3, me as Mr. Macho. Well, I can be sometimes. Oh, a paper plate this time, eh? Do you want to show 'em what happened the first time? Ah, 11s. Thank you, oh. Yeah, I could do with a bit of a break from the hotel business, like a year off. Do you know, I've worn some pretty stupid things over the last year making this series. And here's a chance to see some of the daft things that I've had to put on, whilst I prove that at least one of us is worth our salt. There's no way I'm coming out. Not like this. I mean, there's people around and there's... Do I have to? Now, Carl, who's with me, used to get himself tied up in straitjackets, do things like hang from burning ropes and things like that. And then he'd get out of them. It's not easy, this. Are you ready? I said, are you ready? You coming in? What do you mean, no? Do you think I could have a word with you? It's just, right. Well, there you go. Yeah, well, don't laugh. You see that? That's in case I fall down, then they've got something to winch me up with, you see? Yes. Yeah, I know. Only I haven't got the silly hat, have I? Or the white boots. Do you remember that? Oh, stop it. I'll tell you what, though. A cheese factory at 9 o'clock in the morning is not the place to be. Oh, look. In here. So... Oh, it's a good one for cleaning your nostrils. This is where the cheese is left to mature. They turn it over a couple of times a day, and they also put salt water on it once every day as well. I know it's got reeds around it. I shall show you where they put the reeds around the cheese in just a second. Which way is it, do you think? Do you think it's this way? How did you do that? Anyway, this is the final stage, where they're actually putting the reed around the cheese. And if I just bend down and pick up a piece of the reed, there it is. Just grows in the garden. Natural stuff. Going round. Pinch it in. Brilliant. Now, apparently some companies use plastic, but you should use the real stuff. And here it is, having a bit of paper put around it, and into a wooden box, and on to the rest of the world. There you are. You fancy some of that? Well, now you know how much care and attention goes into making it. Now, time to put the record straight about something. I do not always have a piece of string round my neck because I've got a fetish about it. It is, in fact, a magnet. There it is. Goes round my neck. A microphone clicks onto it, like so, and the transmitter goes in my back pocket. Job done, we can all hear one another. Right, time for Bill. No, Bill Cubbin. He runs the Laurel and Hardy Museum. And don't you think that £2,470 is a bit much for one night? Do it again. And this is it! The Laurel and Hardy Museum. Bill Cubbin is the curator. Isn't it a beautiful place?
Great.
It's just amazing. How long have you been going with this then, collecting all these pictures?
21 years this year. I started in 1974, and I was very privileged to go to America in 1968. I met Stan's daughter, of course, Lois, and Lucille Hardy, and I've been very, very lucky to be able to collect literally thousands of items belonging to Stan.
Why? Why is it here and why is it in Ulverston?
Well, Stan was born here on June the 16th, 1890. And amazingly enough, 105 years ago this year. In fact, we're having a parade this year for Stan's 105th birthday on 17th of June.
And there's his birth certificate.
Copy of Stan's birth certificate. He was born Arthur Stanley Jefferson in a small terraced house, number 3 Argyle Street.
And this is all his personal stuff here, is it?
His hat he wore on the stage, the London Palladium, and of course his little silver cigarette case, his ashtray, and his treacle toffee tin.
Well, he used to go shopping with his grandma, didn't he? He wrote letters about that, didn't he? We're a bit like Laurel and Hardy, aren't we? Actually, more like Hardy and Hardy. Could do with a bit of exercise. But this is fab! We should have had one of these in the series, you know. And all the different kinds of transport, but never one of these. What? Yeah, of course it's all right to sit on it. Whose is it, anyway? Yeah.
Would you mind getting off my motorcycle?
Look at that, the Manchester Ship Canal. That's what we're going over at the moment. Well, you've got to do it, haven't you? Come on. We've got this lift, which is taking us down to the bay itself. How do you do this? Is that a terrified man or what? Right, well the bannerman is waiting and he calls this plane nasty nasty. I'm about to find out why. It's your fault, all this. I told you not to go on that bike. Yeah, right, thanks. Anyway, here's some more bits that went wrong. Not long to go, eh? Oh, give over whinging, will you? Look, I said... No, I didn't. I didn't say, in fact. We're out with Lerwick on there. Oh God, what's it called? Lifeboat. Right, they work hand in hand with Bristow's, who operate the lifeguard. Is it called lifeguard? Coast Guard. Right. Loxley Castle. No, it's not Loxley Castle. It's not... Oh! And it concerns Lady... you know her name, I don't have to tell you. Why, I mean, what's the point? I know it's been a long hike, but it'll be worth it, honestly. And we're nearly there. We just got to go down. Do apologise. I had a small macaw in my throat. Look. Dear. I hope to see my pilot face to face. Something crossed the bar. And though out of our bourne of time and place, the flood might...
You've forgotten it, haven't you?
Forgotten it. 5 beaches with some great names like Gold, Juno and Sword, and 2 with an American name, Omar and... The last word. 5 beaches were used for the landing, 3 of them with wonderfully British names, Gold, Juno and Sword. The other 2 give an indication as to where we're going next. They were called Utah and... I know there's an M in there somewhere or something. Why am I having trouble? Utah and Omaha. Omaha. Is that right? Right. No, you do the window. Ah, these we're ready for doing. Definitely. Now there you go. Bit more daylight coming through there now. Of course, in one of our programmes there was no daylight. It was all underground. And here's a bit that didn't see the light of day first time round. Out of the way, will you? This is the way to travel. You can follow along, all right? Now then, do you know where you are? You're underneath Harrods, possibly the world's most famous store in Knightsbridge. And I tell you what, get your cousin to show us all what it looks like above ground. And now get him to go across the road, all right? Because there's a reason for that, and I'll tell you in a minute. I'll now show you what it looks like underground, because Harrods is just littered with tunnels underneath the store. A little faster, please, Dexter. Let's make him work. The store actually started with a man called Charles Henry Harrod, who opened a little grocer's shop in 1849 up here with just 2 staff. In 1861, his son, Charles Dexter Harrod, bought it off him and really turned it around, mainly because the Great Exhibition was housed in Hyde Park, and this became a more and more fashionable place to live. So the store thrived, doing £1,000 a week, which was unheard of. Nowadays, 35,000. What are you looking down at? You're looking down at this. Oh, well, they've been using these since 1914. These are little electric carts to get around. This is the oldest one they've got. Now, if he's ready, we're going to the other side of the road. That's where we're going in this tunnel at the moment. So get him to take a look at the other side of where Harrods is. What, it's too busy for him to cross the road? All right, okay. I'll come back to him in a moment. 35,000 people a day come in. During the sale, 300,000 people a day come in here. And 12 million of those famous green and gold bags go out of the store every year. They've got their own fire brigade, they've got their own nurses, they even have their own ambulances, and they now employ over 3,000 people. Now, is he there now? Good. That you can see on the other side of the road is where we are now. And it's soon to be, thanks Dexter, it's soon to be a hotel. So you'll be able to come and stay in Harrods. I'll pick up a bargain. Well, you know what they say, don't give up your day job. But actually, I think we've got this one licked. Now, it's time for me as Mr. Action Man. Take that to room 6 for you. We're on Carrick A. Reed, which is... Oh, my legs are shaking. This, a bridge. Oh, the famous rope bridge over to Carrick A. Reed, which means rock in the road. This is damper still. This is Home Pierpont Canoe Slalom Centre. I'm not at all sure I'm going to enjoy this. For once, I'm going to admit something. I don't want to be here. Thank you, and I'll see you in Mulligan's. Okay. Woo! So we didn't get the job then. Mind you, I don't envy you that job, it's a tough one that. But what are we going to do now then? What? We've got another series in the holiday hotspots of Europe. Oh my dear, I'm off to sunny Spain. Oh viva España.
And Tim and his cameraman are back this afternoon, sampling the delights to be found on the Isle of Wight. That's at 3 o'clock.
No, it's a tape, that.